Hey everyone, Michelle here, and I want to give you some information about two fantastic machines. They're both Janomes and they are workhorses. They also have a stitch regulator, and that's what you're going to use when you do free motion quilting. So let's take a look at the Janome 9480 first. Come on in. So the first thing you're going to see, we've got a nice throat space here to work with. And when we lift the lid, look at all these amazing stitches that you can use. They even have little bicycles, little clouds. There's so many decorative stitches. You got lots of buttonholes, things that you will never run out of learning how to use. The other thing I want to show you is this machine has power. The Janomes are known for that, okay? Now, I have the look at this, look at that this is called the dual feed. This is attached to the machine, and look at under here, we have feed dogs here and on the underside. This is what's gonna help move that fabric underneath your presser foot. So I'm gonna put the foot down and I'm going to show you, it's just gonna do a basic stitch. I'm gonna move the speed all the way down. I want you to watch that. Look at how it moves that fabric. So if you're doing those by Annie bags, if you're doing quilt sandwiches that you need to keep together, putting a binding on, this is going to keep those fabrics together. It's going to keep them from rippling, and it's going to go through multiple layers. So I'm going to finish off that. And I can cut my fabric, cut my thread there, okay? And we've just got a nice, beautiful stitch on both sides. Now, what I want to show you is the power that this machine, what it can do. Look at this. I have a little sample here, but I'm going to demonstrate it for you. This is denim. I started with 2 pieces right here, right? Now I have 2, 4, now I have 6 pieces, right? 6 layers of denim, no problem. I can even double that, and I can go through this without any skip stitches. So let's take a look at the power of this machine. So I'm going to grab a couple pieces of denim, and I'm just doing a basic straight stitch for right now. I'm going to put the presser foot lifter down, and I'm going to sew. Okay. Now I'm going to double up this fabric just like that. It went right over it, and it comes right back down. And it keeps going. I don't have any skip stitches in this whatsoever. Now, let me show you something else. We're going to put the foot down, and we're going to sew. And do you see this layer here? We're going to double this. We're going to come up and over that. I can even stop with the needle end, and I'm going to put the foot up a little bit, and I'm going to pivot, bring it down. Okay. And I'm going to stop, and I'm going to pivot again. And I'll cut my thread. Look at these. Look at that. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 layers. Not a hiccup. Not a hiccup in it. So those bindings that you're going to be doing by Annie, that you have the binding on the edges of all that vinyl, all of those layers of soft and stable, those are going to be able to go through with a machine like this. Now, I bet you didn't know that this machine also does free motion quilting. So it actually has a stitch regulator. So if you don't know what a stitch regulator is, it is a mechanism that attaches to the machine, plugs into the back, and when you do free motion quilting, we're going to get perfect stitches on the top and on the bottom. It's going to move with you, and it's going to make your stitches look perfect. So the 9480 you can put on a stitch regulator, okay? So it's very important to know, not just the power, not just the decorative stitches, but the free motion quilting, and it's called ASR, automatic stitch regulator. You can put that on the 9480. So let me show you how that works, but I'm going to take you over to the M8 and we're going to show you how that stitch regulator works, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at the Continental, the M8. This is the Janome machine. Again, Janome has power. You want to go through all those layers when you're stitching, this is another machine to check out. On the M8, this machine has it all. We've got an amazing one, the throat space is huge, right? But we also have this table that comes with it, so you've got a nice flat area to sew with. And we've got, up here, we have our separate bobbin winder. We have 2 spools to be able to thread the machine very easily. The threader is amazing. It's such a simple mechanism. And when it comes to this machine, this number of stitches you have is above and beyond. We have 47 pages of stitches, whether it be buttonholes, whether it be decorative stitches. And Janome, when they created their machines, they really, when they started at the entry level, they never changed anything. They kept the file folders the same. They kept the way the machine is handled. So when you have a Janome, maybe you have an entry-level Janome, when you move up the ladder, the learning curve is very minimal because they kept things the same and just kept adding. They never take away anything. So the first thing you're going to notice on here is that we have some highlights at the top, and then we have our categories. So we don't have a flip top lid to show us the stitches, but we can certainly touch this one here. And look, you can see all of the different stitches right here on screen, very easy to maneuver through. And if I want to pick one of these, let me see, I'm going to pick this one. I touch it, it automatically goes to that stitch. It tells me what foot, what the size. I can change the stitch width and stitch length right here on the screen, along with a quick adjustment. I have another stitch width and stitch length adjustment right here, right on the machine. But when we're looking at all these stitches, there is such a number of combinations that you can create your own stitches also. And the nice part is every one of these stitches can be saved 2 more times. 2 more times, not just the default setting, but you can change each stitch 2 more times, save it to the machine. So if you're doing a particular applique or a particular stitch on maybe a bag or a quilt that you're doing the background, you can go right back to that stitch. When you, like say, have to shut the machine down, go do something, come back, you can save that stitch so you don't have to adjust it again, okay? It's easy to get to, and it makes things a whole lot easier, and you don't have to remember anything, right? So with that said, I wanted to show you the stitch regulator on this thing. So this is what the stitch regulator looks like. Do you see this mechanism down here? Okay. So this mechanism, it hooks right here. And then on the back, there is a plug-in at the back of the machine that tells the machine that it is hooked up to the stitch regulator. Now, do you see where my needle is right now? It's nowhere near the center of that. So we have to go into a setting to show us how to use the stitch regulator. So we're going to go back up to the screen, and we're going to go all the way to this little t-shirt right here, okay? And on the t-shirt file folder, we have, these are different things when you make construction of a garment. But I want to go to this little heart right here. And the little heart will then give me some other options to look for. We have piecing, free motion quilting, ruler work. We can do decorative quilt stitches, straight stitch, even applique stitches. We're going to go to free motion. Okay. We have 6 different options for quilting, like free motion quilting. The very first one is going to tell you to put the PDH foot on. It's a straight stitch. If I go here, it's going to move the needle all the way over to the left. You can actually see it even on the screen. See how that stitch is all the way over to the left? And it also wants me to put the PDH foot on. I can do a zigzag with this, with that same foot. When I go to straight stitch 3, always make sure I have the right foot on. it's going to say I can use one of the QC or the QO feet. This is going to be where these are attached to the regular ankle of the machine. But if I want to do the automatic stitch regulator, I can choose the stitch. And way up here, do you see ASR? I'm going to touch that. It's going to highlight to yellow. And now I have my stitch regulator feet. I can either do an open toe or a closed toe. I have the closed toe on right now. And the needle is now in the center of this foot attachment, okay? I just have a regular bobbin in the machine. I'm going to make sure that this is set correctly. Yep, I think we're good there. Now, I just have a simple quilt sandwich right here, and you can tell we've been kind of playing around with it, okay? The first thing I want to do is pull up my bobbin thread. So I'm going to put the presser foot down, okay? Let's see, here. And I'm going to put a needle down, needle up, put the foot back up, and I want to pull up the bobbin thread. And the reason I want to pull up the bobbin thread is a little white thread right there. Do you see that? I pull the bobbin thread up so I don't have that bird's nest on the underside of my quilt. All right? I'm going to hang on to those. I'm going to put the fabric right back on underneath it. I'm going to put the presser foot lifter down. Now this is where you want to take a deep breath. You want to relax your shoulders. You don't want anything tense. And I'm going to take a couple stitches in place. Okay? And this kind of just locks my stitches down right there. Now I'm going to put my hands kind of like a C, like in an opposite C, to hold my fabric down in place. You can use gloves if you want to help you hold the fabric because it can get slippery a little bit. But we have such a nice big flat table underneath here. I've got a great surface to work with. So I'm going to put my foot on the gas pedal, and it's going to go as fast or as slow as I do. So I'm going to put my foot down. So if I go fast, or if I go slow, or if I go fast, and when I stop and I readjust my hands and I keep going. And the more you do it, the better you'll get. But this gives me a stitch that's perfect, not only on the top, but on the bottom as well. I can cut my thread. Now normally I wouldn't do that. Normally, hold on a second, let me do that. Normally I would just pull up my bobbin thread because I don't want a knot at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to put the presser foot up. And so we're going to touch this off. Normally I would, when I'm really done quilting and I'm done with my quilt sandwich for my practice, I like to sew off and off of my quilt sandwich so that I can just clip my thread here. If I'm in the middle of my quilt sandwich, I usually stop, I'll pull up the bobbin thread, and that way I can bury that thread in between the quilt sandwich. But the stitch regulator, let me go back here, hold on one second. Let me get a pair of scissors here. There we go. The quilt sandwich can be made so much easier with the stitch regulator and this nice big flat top. When you are quilting, you have the capability of piecing your quilt together beautifully. You have the capability of doing all of the stitching on it to quilt your quilt, no matter how big it is, because of the nice throat space and the amount of space you have to work with. And you also have the power to go through many quilt layers or quilt bindings. The stitch regulator is going to make your life so much easier. Just got to relax, practice a little bit, but your stitches are perfect every time. Remember, the stitch regulator can be put on not only the M8, but the 9480. Both of those Janomes can take this stitch regulator. It's worth every penny. These machines, again, if you're a quilter, if you're a sewer, if you're a garment maker, if you want help with free motion quilting, or if you're making all those tote bags that have some really heavy duty layers, these Janomes are going to make your life so much easier. So check out both of them, the M8 and the 9480 by Janome.
If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe so you won't miss future tutorials. For more help, visit sewitonline.com. Join our little community and keep making beautiful things. Bye for now. Happy sewing.